It was a quiet, peaceful night, much like its predecessor. Clear as a glass after a bartender pours a bottle of Gozio Amaretto. That's when he walked in. 6'2", maybe 3. Clean shaven as the day he came out of the cradle. He approached tentatively, careful not to catch my glance until the last possible second. Hello, he said. I hear you're the guy to hire in case of an emergency.
Excuse me, sir, but I can speak for myself.
Of course. Go on.
Hello, I hear you're the guy to hire in case of an emergency.
He looked a little anxious, kind of wild behind the eyes, as if someone or something was watching every twitch of his eyebrow, every extension of his little finger. It was as if he had brought in a stench that could knock out the King Tyrannosaurus of the Cretaceous period.
Sorry about that.
I'm Terry Inspector, as good as the cops, fire department, all rolled into one man.
And the hospitals?
Haven't got them beat yet. They're too good.
I see.
So, what's the jibber jabber this time?
Pardon?
Let me guess. Kitten embezzlement? Adopted mother-in-law? Wife slowly poisoning you over the course of a month to inherit your finances and run off with another man?
Why, yes.
I knew it. Those damn kittens have gone too far this time.
No, not that at all. I love my cat. But the last one you said hit the mark precisely.
Really? What did I say again?
Well, you mentioned the affair and the financial gain, but most importantly, I think my wife is trying to kill me. It all started on Monday the 15th. I had just sat down for my tea break, which I have at 2:33 on the dot. I drank eucalyptus, which I usually have on days divisible by 5. Sparky, my manager of affairs and chauffeur, brought it to me in a porcelain cup that I inherited from my great aunt's will. Thank you, Sparky. He brought me to the day's race standings. That I'm always eagerly to catch up on. Ever since I was a boy,
You do know I charge by the hour. Now, that wasn't quite true, but I figured a client with pockets as deep as his, maybe I should start.
I know. Sparky, have you seen today's race standings?
No, sir, I have not.
My grandfather won 3rd place in the Hashton Derby.
Ollie, dear Ollie, I have the biggest surprise for you.
Mrs.
Oh,
Bostock,
yes, dear.
let me help you with those.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, dear, what is it?
Guess. Oh, please sit down and have some too. Please have a taste and let me know what you think.
Is it a pair of Alexandria Light cufflinks?
Cufflinks? Well, no.
I know. It's a new Larchwood pony.
Not quite, Ollie, but I'm sure I can make it look that way.
Miss Russell, these are delicious. Did you make these yourself?
That's right, I did. I thought I would try my hand in the kitchen for a change, and I signed up for a class.
I know. Oh, honey, it's a new riding crop. You remembered I lost mine last year at the pond to a vicious goose. That feather fiend hasn't seen the last of me. He won't push me off my lawn. Why, I'll...
Yikes. You're telling me you were poisoned by a goose?
What? No, I'm being poisoned by my wife.
But then what does the goose have to do with anything?
Well, that was the first time it happened. After the meal, I went to the bathroom, locked myself in there.
Too much information. So, you think either the tea or the cake was tainted with poison?
Precisely.
Could you tell me why your wife would want to kill you? Actually, I might have an idea.
Yes, my enormous fortune from my grandfather's racing days. Now, I love Molly, dearest, but lately she's been rather distant. She's been going out in the late afternoons, and every time I try to approach her about it, she always laughs it off, and then proceeds to try to serve me more dishes. After the coffee cake, it was the pecan pie, then the macaroons. And just the other morning, she served me the most delicious breakfast brownies I've ever tasted. Except after the breakfast brownies, I nearly lost my teeth.
I get it. Your tummy got totaled.
Indeed. And then just yesterday, my suspicions were confirmed when I overheard my wife on the telephone talking to her sister from out of town. About, oh, I can't say it!
Mr. Dakota has been taking me to the Chateau de Port. I was nervous about it at first, but I've had the most wonderful time. I found the secret ingredient that I was missing from my life. I swear, Mindy, I don't know how I lived so long without... Oh, Ollie? He doesn't know yet. I don't know if I'll ever be able to tell him.
Tell me what, dear?
Oh, hang on 1 second, Mindy. He's here right now. Oh, Ollie, I love...
Did she actually say that? Did she actually say the words, I love poisoning you?
Well, no. But I can see it. It was written all over her face. First, she distracts me with these illustrious gifts. Then, she serves me the most delicious dishes that I've ever tasted in my entire life. And then, when my entire life is over, she runs off with Dakota off to a chateau with all my beautiful ponies.
Oh, you have quite the case, my friend. Can I pour you a drink?
Yes.
So, is there anything else you can tell me about your history? Was this typical behavior of your wife? Was she always so detached?
Great game, isn't it?
What's pardon?
The polo game, or are you not watching it? It's right there in front of you.
Oh, yes, I do enjoy a good game.
You don't sound very convincing.
Well, I don't watch it for the game, really. I'm more interested in the beasts who play it. Look how they move, their control. It's quite remarkable.
I agree, they're very majestic creatures.
Did you know that it's the hindquarters of the thoroughbred that make them so desirable? Mix that with the Creliosis agility, and you got a mighty fine steed.
You sure know a lot about them. I used to help tend to my father's horses on our farm, but we didn't really breed them. We had old Miles who pulled our till. I loved riding him, though. We used to take him out on early morning escapes in the orchard, and he would munch on the apples until it was time for him to work.
You really know how to ride?
Of course, I love to ride, don't you?
Well, to be honest, I never have.
You've never ridden a horse, and yet your family breeds them. That's absurd. Here, I'll go take you out on one right now. My cousin helps care for the horses here. Come on, let's go. We need to right this wrong at once.
Mr. Wellstock, did you hear me?
Pardon?
Was your wife always so detached?
Well, no. We were quite in love, you see. She was always right by my side. She gave me the courage to enter into the relationship, matter of fact. And for a lot of other things for that matter. But that was before. She's found someone new now. This Dakota!
Your dinner, sir.
Oh, thank you, Sparky. It's amazing. I didn't even call him.
But Spark. Was it Spark? Yeah, come here. Can you provide any further insight into Mr. Wellstock's claims?
I've no idea what you're talking about. To be quite honest, I find it best not to speak with Mr. Wellstock unless prompted. He tends to go on and on about nothing of consequence.
Well, Mr. Wellstock seems to think Miss Wellstock is poisoning him. Surely you could comment on his claims of illness or her behavior.
Molly would never. Sure, it is true that Mr. Wellstock has been feeling ill of late, but I can't imagine he'd suspect her of wrongdoing. She's as kind a woman as I have ever met. Wouldn't harm a fly.
And what about these secret rendezvous? Surely, as the family driver, you would know of any excursions she might be taking?
Well, it's true I've been taking Mrs. Wellstock to a chateau frequently over the past few weeks, but it was for classes.
And at these classes, was she meeting any suspicious men? Made mention of a Dakota?
I have seen neither hide nor hair of any other man in Molly's life, and I wouldn't dare believe she would commit such a heinous act. As for this Dakota, I certainly know him. He's...
Ollie, dear, why have you been here so long?
Molly, what are you doing here?
I was waiting out in the car for you, love. Mr. Dakota said he brought you here, and since you were taking so long, he picked me up from my class, and we came to wait for you. You've been gone a little while, though, but then he heard you call for dinner and brought it straight in.
Mr. Dakota? I don't know a Mr. Dakota. How could you say he drove me here and brought me dinner? He's your secret boyfriend.
My what?
Sir,
Sparky was the one who drove me here, not Mr. Dakota. Sparky was the one who brought me dinner. Sparky? Wait.
Ollie, dear.
Sir, it's me. Dakota is my last name.
No, that's not right.
I'm sorry, this is all my fault.
So, where have you been going then, and why are you trying to kill me?
Pardon?
Kill you? I would never do such a thing. I love you, sweetie, but sometimes you blow things a little out of proportion.
Now, with the whole household in my office, things were beginning to come together. The mysterious man, the secret rendezvous. The only thing I hadn't figured out was the illness. But that too would come out in time, as all secrets do. Especially when Terry N. Spector is on the case. Alright, calm down. I think I know what's going on here. Sparky is the Mr. Dakota that Mr. Wellstock heard Miss Wellstock mention. That's why he's been associating you with her outings. It was only his unfamiliarity with your last name that confused him. Miss Wellstock has been taking cooking classes, which was more than apparent in Mr. Wellstock's stories. He was just preoccupied with guessing exuberant gifts more than that of delicious baking. But that still leaves one question. Who's poisoning Mr. Wellstock? Because someone still is. Otherwise, he wouldn't be getting sick after every meal.
Yes, but who?
Well, you'll be happy to know the culprit is...
Ollie!
Sir,
Oh my, is he dead? Help him, please, Ollie!
He's fine. It's probably just a stomach problem. Tell me, Miss Wellstock, have you been adding anything new to your cooking? A secret ingredient? Maybe a flavor that's shared with my bottle of Gozio Amaretto?
Well, yes. In my cooking classes, we discovered that almond extract makes baked goods taste amazing. I was thrilled when I discovered it. Are you suggesting I didn't know it would do this to Ollie? My poor Ollie, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. You always just ate the desserts I made with such gusto. I thought you loved them.
I think he did. Maybe just a little bit too much. I'd stay away from the almonds next time if I were you.
Thanks, Doc.
come on, sir. Let's get you home.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't know what we would have done without you.
No problem, ma'am.
Do you think you could help us figure out what's wrong with our cat? He's been acting a bit strange of late, like he's in some kind of fantasy RPG. Maybe I'll send Ollie by again when he's back on his feet.
Yes, I think you'd best do that. Another case closed, another chapter ends on the storied career of Terry N. Spector, the greatest detective in the Western Hemisphere. Better than the cops, fire department, and now hospitals, all rolled into one incredible man. And perhaps next time, better than the veterinarians, too. Maybe. But for now, good night.